Hey there everybody, Aaron here. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Today we're going to be doing the field test and review on the Survive Knives SK-4. That's what I got here in my hand. I've had a chance to really get a good grasp of what you're purchasing with this new introductory line from Survive that offers you a lot of options, but at a pretty reasonable price that you don't really have to wait around for, like the GSOs, and kind of wait for them to get made. These things are already pre-made, ready to be cranked out the same week that you order them and shipped to you. So I've had a chance to really thrash on the S7 steel as well, which I've never used before, and really got an idea of its capabilities. So let me give you a couple basic specs, and then we'll jump into the field testing on the Survive Knives SK-4. Okay, let me give you a couple basic specs here on the blade, and then we'll begin to get out there and use this thing. What you have is a total cutting edge on the knife of 4.3 inches long, which is great for all sorts of camp tasks, bushcraft tasks, all sorts of different stuff that you might need. You got a saber grind, you can see there, cuts in and then goes flat right around the logo right here. Perfect blade geometry, razor hair popping sharp, literally. Was able to shave with it. Did not need any sort of touch up on my Spyderco sharp maker when it arrived, which is awesome. Great amount of belly into that drop point, almost spear point design blade, which is going to be fantastic, for not only slicing capability but also stabbing capabilities. There, the steel is S7 tool steel. I've never used that type of steel before. The Rockwell hardness on this particular S7 is 57, is the Rockwell, and they do a great heat treatment over there, so it's going to be very strong, durable, very high shock resistance, which is awesome. It is a high carbon, so they've put a flat black coating on the model that I purchased. You can also get it in kind of a tannish gray coating as well to match handle scales if you so desire, which is awesome. And that is nice that they give you a really low traction, very high quality. This isn't, a low budget spray on like K-bar coating. The thickness on the full tank construction of the knife is 5/32, which is perfect. It's a little thicker than an eighth of an inch, but it's also not as thick as 3/16, which can kind of become cumbersome, makes it a little more difficult to slice. So you're getting really good slicing capability with that 5/32 inches thick, but it's also got some more strength than an eighth of an inch thick blade. So those are a few of the basic specs for you guys. Let's go ahead and begin to use this knife. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of chopping here with the SK-4. Obviously, it's pretty lightweight. It's not going to get a lot of chopping done. I'm using my little pinky lanyard there. Get a good grip with my other fingers, and I don't have to have this huge lanyard on there. So just a little bit of chopping so you can kind of get an idea. That's about the quality of chopping that you're going to get with the SK-4, just because of how small and lightweight it is. There we go. There's a nice little piece of wood there for our tent pole. We'll carve here in just a second. Let me show you another way that's even more efficient to be able to split wood with your SK-4. Okay, so obviously the SK-4 is not really got the weight or the size to be able to do any type of chopping, but you can split wood in two very easily just by doing a side stroke. You can see here, look at that, boom. 3 hits, went right through about a 1.5 inch piece of pine, no problem. We'll do it again. Very simple, and again, with that saber grind makes it really easy to be able to do this type of stuff. Very easy to do with your SK-4. Just pound straight through there, boom. Split it. Now I can do whatever I need with this, regardless if it's for the fire or whatever. Very easy to do with that particular saber grind on the SK-4. Okay, so as you saw just a second ago, I chopped about an 18-inch piece of wood here, about the thickness of my thumb, so that I can fashion a tent peg, which would either be great, for a tarp, obviously, or if you're, setting up, some sort of snare. So that's a great way to test out your knives as well, whether or not it's going to be ergonomic, how well the edge is, all those type of things. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to fashion a tent peg with the SK-4 and see how it works in that capacity. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is make the notch that the paracord would go around, or the snare wire would go around, just by doing a simple push cut. And again, this is not only testing out the edge capacity, just quality of the edge on a knife, but this is also testing out the ergonomics, because I'm really having to put some pressure on this thing, do the pushing, see if there's any hot spots as I'm doing this. And just kind of push in and kind of make an X, you can see there. Then I'm just going to do kind of a thumb push cut here, push off, get rid of some of that excess. Keep doing that a little bit here, and that thumb push. And I gotta say, this SK-4 is doing amazing. I've done lots of carving with this, but just for your guys' sake, I'm doing this tent peg. There we go. And the edge is amazing, holding up really, really well. And it's just ground in really well. Sweet. Okay, so there you go. You can see there. Now I've kind of etched it around, so that's where I would feed my paracord. Now let's go ahead and we'll do a chest pull, kind of do a more aggressive pull, cutting at the other end to make the spike. All right, so now that we've fashioned a little notch to hold the paracord or snare wire, now I am doing a chest lever pull with the SK-4. Get that nice spike kind of material or design with the piece of wood there. The knife is handling this very well, very ergonomic in my hand when I'm holding it in that reverse chest pull. And when you're making a spike, you want to try and keep it level on one side with the wood. That just gives it extra strength all the way through instead of bringing the point all the way, to the dead center. So I'm kind of making it at an angle there. Then I have now fashioned my tent spike with the little notch. And then I can even use the pommel here. Pommel that sucker down in there. There we go, good to go. So as you guys have just seen with fashioning the tent peg, not only the ergonomics on the handle, but also the edge, the geometry of the blade, that saber grind, just everything about this knife makes it ideal for this type of use that you see me doing right now. Carving, whittling, making tent pegs, bushcraft skills, if you will. All that type of stuff, setting up a shelter, doing some fire prep, light fire prep. Obviously, you're not going to really be doing batoning or, chopping down trees with this thing. But you can just see here, this thing is just going to town. The SK-4 is destroying this piece of wood, and it's very comfortable when I do that. I like that nice set of jimping up there. Gives me good traction with my gloves. It is a little sharp without your gloves on. You could obviously file that down a little bit, but that is going to give you really good traction overall. All right, so I want to show you the handle here on the SK-4. Very nice ergonomic or large size gloves, and you can see there I got plenty of room to spare. Very ergonomic. Now with the original introductory line that you see here in my hand that I purchased, the first set that they sent out, do have the GSO 4.1 handles on here, so that it does have some slight, cutting in and cutting out flare back here near the hidden lanyard hole, so it's definitely extremely ergonomic. The ones, once they start cranking them out every week of the SK line, they will have flatter handles, similar to the handle scales will be similar to SE knives, kind of flat on the side, not all the little, curves, and, not quite as ergonomic as what you see here, but it'll still be great, I'm sure. So just kind of FYI on that. The handle is not skeletonized like the 4.1, GSO 4.1 that this is, taken after. So it is slightly handle heavy. The balance point is right behind that bolt, basically right there is the balance point. So it is slightly heavy, handle heavy, and it weighs in at between 8 and 9 ounces. So really nice, lightweight, and really have no complaints with that carry weight at all, particularly for what you're getting with the blade. And then the last thing I just wanted to touch on is that the edges on either side of the blade here are extremely sharp right angles, so you can throw sparks even with this coating. It will wear the coating slightly. I don't know if you can see that right by my thumb. So it started to wear off the coating, so I've decided to stop and not do that anymore. But you can either scrape bark very easily with this knife, or throw sparks with your ferrule rod if you so desire. So it's definitely a sharper angle, I believe on purpose, than the GSO line, so you can do those type of things. But overall, great ergonomics on the handle, and just a great, very comfy knife for those bushcraft or survival tasks. Okay, let's look at the kydex sheath here on the SK-4. It's the exact same sheath you'd be getting with the GSO 4.1 kydex. You can only get it in black, to my knowledge, with the SK line. That's the only color, unless you want to pay extra and then get different colors to match your knife. But lots of lashing points. What's awesome is this kind of Molly compatible belt loop is what they've designed. It's a piece of kydex that's looped over. You can see there it's independent of each other. Real nice, plenty of room there to get a pistol belt through, you know, a large leather belt, and it is very secure on there, guys. That thing is not coming off if you're running and gunning. You can see there just lots of space and that really good hook there. And then you can also weave them through Molly. So if you want to put it on a Molly vest or a Molly pack or something like that, very easy to do. It is adjustable right or left. It does ride pretty high. You can see that. That's kind of starting to get up near your rib cage if you are wearing it on your belt like so. They do offer now a drop leg feature with a little leather loop that lets it kind of hang lower, which is a nice bonus. But I really enjoy using this. You can, you know, kind of modify blade tech locks if you so desire. Really nice trough there for drainage all the way down the blade. You can see there with a really nice hole right in there. Again, lots of lashing points, run Molly through, all sorts of stuff like that. Zero rattle. None whatsoever. Real good thumb ramp right there. Push off, pull the blade out, use it, click it back into place, you're good to go. So a great, really no complaints with the kydex sheath on the SK-4.
Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about what you're getting with an SK-4 from Survive Knives, say compared to a Tops Knives, you know, or another, you know, company, SE Knives or something like that. So let's talk about price first. I paid $170 for my SK-4. And you're going to pay about $110 to $120 for your Hog 4.5 from Tops. Both very similar knives, but we got 1095 steel and we got S7 tool steel. So we'll talk about that in a second. But the first thing is, and with a lot of knives, as you guys know out there, this did not come with a very good quality sheath, the Tops Hog. This was a really bogus sheath, and eventually I'm going to probably have to either find a substitute or get a custom-made kydex one. And if I were to pay to get a custom-made kydex one of the same quality that comes with the SK-4 model, this really nice kydex sheath, I would have to ship it, pay for shipping, send it to a company, they would have to make a sheath, and then send it back to me, be out for, you know, probably 6 weeks, and I would easily pay between 40 and 50 bucks for a custom sheath on my Hog 4.5. So boom, then we're right there at 170 bucks to get this Hog 4.5 running like this SK-4 is. Then let's talk about the steels. This S7 tool steel I've never used before, and as I told you in the teaser video, you know, I really wanted to thrash on it, so that's what I did, guys. I came out almost every night in the backyard, whittled, carved. I took it on like 6 hiking trips, made tons of tent pegs, did some splitting, light chopping down of branches. I mean, I tried to really, you know, go to town on this S7 steel. I cut through several huge cardboard boxes, purposely trying to dull this blade, and it never lost its factory edge. It lost a little bit of the hair-popping sharpness after a long, long time of really hard abuse. So then I just ran on some ceramic rods on my Spyderco Sharp Maker real quick, and it came back to that shaving sharp edge on that S7 steel. So it's going to be very easy to maintain out there in the field for you compared to, say, a Survive's other steel. You know, the CPM 3V is very difficult to resharpen out in the field. This S7 tool steel is going to be a lot easier, but it's going to hold its edge longer than 1095 from, say, Tops or SE, a lot longer. I would have definitely had to resharpen my SE6 or this Tops Hog 4.5 at least once through all the abuse that I have put the SK-4 through in these past about month and a half that I've had it. So I just want to kind of throw that out there to you guys. Yes, I believe it's worth $170. You're going to get really good shock resistance and just be a fantastic blade for you, and you can get it for under 200 bucks. You can get it within a week. I mean, just it's worth it, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Yes, $170 is absolutely worth the price for this Survive SK-4.
All right, everybody, so you've seen the SK-4 in action. I really dig this blade. For a small wilderness or bushcraft knife, I think this would be great to pair with a GSO 10. I sure hope you guys over there at Survive, Guy, I hope you're listening, make an SK-10 with the S7 steel. I think a lot of people go nuts for that. Yeah, I think this would be a great little knife to pair with other bigger blades or a hatchet, you know, things like that. I think it's definitely worth the price that we already talked about in the comparison with some of those other knives I showed you. I love it. It's a good blade. You got the good kydex, and I have no plans to get rid of this blade. It does a lot for you out there in the bush when it comes to, you know, your camp tasks or your, you know, bushcraft tasks, if you will. So thanks everybody for watching. I would highly recommend picking up an SK-4 from Survive Knives. Stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.